ECU? No, it's fine. I need to get some cold air into the intercooler.
Good day, you beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of TeaN'BizzKits. My name's Bizzle. It's turned a little bit chilly in the UK and I only have a single skin garage, no heating, no insulation, so it's a little bit cold. And so tip top of the agenda on this episode is that we've got surprises. And the first goodie I've got for you guys is for you. It's not for me, because you've probably noticed on some of my video footage and previous episodes, you get this whoop, 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 whoop with the lights, and it's not very good, and flickering and grainy picture quality. I'm sorry about that, and thank you very much for sticking with me. So my gift from TeaN'BizzKits and Bizzle to you is, you're welcome, new non-pulsating lights. Cool, I know how to treat you lot. Anyway, let's crack on. So I had to get some standard kind of supplies. So a couple of bags of cable ties, nothing special here. Some decent 3M duct tape, always worthwhile getting the good stuff. Some insulating tape as well, bits and bobs that just kind of stock back up. But if you manage to check out my little announcements and update short video from a week or so back, you might have seen that my injectors were not very good at all. So I needed to do something about that. Having a hunt around, I couldn't find any side feed injectors. Now the 4-age, like all Toyota, which are generally very good Toyota bits, they share across multiple platforms. So these side feed injectors, this kind of design and size side feed injector, comes in a low impedance and high impedance. And then once I knock some of the options off of that, it's then a case of the right size. You know, I can't go for aftermarket 1000cc Supras because they're just not going to work, or even, you know, 500 brake horsepower MR2 turbos. I have to go for original Mark 1, I think, Supras, or maybe some of the later Gen 2 Supras, but they need to be small, you know, 450, 500, 550, absolutely max CC. And they need to be high impedance, so they work with the OMEX. So that really narrows it down to literally only 1 or 2 sets available from across all of the Toyota platform. Finding these is impossible because most people, once they tuned their MR2 or they tuned their Supra, they just throw them away. These have been going for 30 years and, you know, they just buy new ones that are bigger and throw these ones away. So I had to fork out a bit of money. I had to go big. MRP down in New Zealand, they make some good stuff. So, fresh from MRP is this. A really nice top mount fuel rail. These little bits I added on, these aren't from MRP. There's some AN6 fittings on the end, a couple of adapters for my push fit hoses, because I'm 90 degrees. This nice billet, aluminium for top feed injectors. This should bolt straight onto my silver top 4-age throttle bodies. Lovely. So this top feed injector fuel rail also means that I need to change the throttle position. So this comes as a kit. So I've also got the little fitting kit, which basically relocates my throttle cable throttle cable twisty jobby for the throttle bodies to the underside, because the top rail gets in the way. And then some really nice, never heard of them before, but you know, Google and etc. seem to say they're good. MRP say they're good. Some expert injectors. Now these not only come with all of the flow testing and everything, but all of the data that you need. But these are lovely. So this is a relatively universal kit. As I said, you can buy these for Evos. These will bolt straight onto Evos. They come with top extenders, bottom extenders, additional O-rings to make that all work. All the plugs and everything are in here as well. But these injectors are tiny and lovely. So the difference in these is incredible. Look at the size difference. And look at the nozzle pattern. 525cc these are. So, you know, very capable for what I want. I do have to do a little bit of modifying to my throttle bodies to make them fit. And it's irreversible. So like I haven't done lots of other stuff that I've never done before, really rare throttle bodies. Why don't you just get the Dremel out? Modify them. It's a bit frightening. Anyway, really nice injectors. Troy's going to be over the moon with that. But there's more. If I'm now not using the internal fuel rail for the side feed injectors, that means my fuel pressure regulator doesn't work either. So, it's gone for Cytec because I've got Cytec everything else. So why the devil not? So in here, an adjustable fuel regulator with a pressure gauge so we can actually see what's going on. So dially, squirty squirty, bangy bangy, zoomy zoomy.
That's what she said.
I covered in a previous episode about pre-starting. This car hasn't started since the rolling road a good month or so back. It's just sat there and I've done wiring and a few other bits and bobs. So what I want to do is just check that the car can still start and run before I start to do more dramatic wiring and start to fit my new goodies. What I do is I take the spark plugs out. When it's freezing cold, I get the hot air gun on the bottom of the sump just to warm the oil up. And with the spark plugs out, I just turn the car over. And what I'm basically doing is I'm just getting the oil circulated around the engine while it's under no pressure or stresses at all, because with the spark plugs out, there's no pressure in the cylinders, and it just means that the car can just turn over. And I'm taking a look to see where the oil pressure's building up. If the oil pressure's building up, then, you know, it's pre-primed the engine for the oil, and it means when I put the spark plugs in for the first time and start it for the first time, I just know that the engine's got some oil and stuff like that, and it's not running without any oil or lubrication in there. So, spark plugs are out. I've dry cranked that with no compression, pop the spark plugs back in, and then we're going to give it a start. So this may not start. I've got the idle air control valve disconnected, a few other bits and bobs connected, but I need to try and set up the tick over and the throttle body positions on idle, so we just need to see if it starts. Primed it, let's go. It's good, they're too high. It's interesting.
This is not a good state of affairs, guys. So, as we saw, the TPS isn't working. After plugging in the laptop, we could see that it's not giving a signal. So I was checking the power, the grounding, and the signal. So the yellow one is meant to be +5 from the ECU. The green one is the signal, and the brown one is ground. So, just tracing it back, checking there's no problems. You see I've got it all out to have a look at it. Just tracing it back, through the plug, round the loom, back to the ECU. This pink wire here is +5 volt out from the OMEX ECU. And it's not giving me 5 volt out. I've checked the supply. So there's 2 for this. There's a 1 pin here, and then there's a 4, I think, here, this red one. They're the two 12-volt ins, and obviously the grounds as well. All of them are good, and it's not outputting 5 volt. I think my ECU's gone up the wall. I think I'm in trouble. So I'm not happy about this. I don't think I can get across to you the disappointment, the frustration I've got at the moment with this car. I keep on just coming up against problems, resolving them, more problems, and it's like they get bigger and bigger and bigger. I thought the clutch was an issue about 15 episodes ago. Did that, no problem. Rolling road, more problems. Injectors, finally managed to resolve that once I get the fuel rail and stuff on. Happy. ECU up the wall.
Are you kidding me?
People are asking 600 quid from second hand. They're 600 quid new. I spoke to Troy and he said that I should probably just approach OMEX and just see if they can repair it. So that's the first port of call. But I don't want to buy a new OMEX. They do ECU masters for like 580 quid plus that. Plus some sensors. That ECU master is so much better. It's got knock control, wideband lambda, variable mapping. But I have the rolling road booked in like 2 weeks. Let's hope OMEX can fix this quickly. Because otherwise I'm buying a new ECU, cancelling that rolling road, and the next few episodes is going to be me getting the engine back out, rewiring all the ECU, running all the wiring back through the bulkhead, crying into an empty wallet. I'm genuinely gutted and mortified. So, I'm going to cheer myself up while the ECU's off by pretending that nothing's happened and cracking on with some of the other fun jobs. I'm going to show you how to make some cowling for the front of my rads. Because cold air is just as important as fuel, which is almost as important as a working ECU. Whoop, whoop. Let's make some stuff.
Okay, this is what I'm dealing with the nose cone off. I wanted something to kind of come out here and shutter the air from coming round here. Probably something on the top, and something on this side as well, and maybe something on the bottom, just to kind of enclose this lot off, just to get some frontal pressure on here. Now, trying to mount that's going to be quite difficult, I think. Do I see an opportunity for a 3D printed clippy coming forward with a shutter here? And a 3D printed thingy come in here, shuttery forward. And if I come off of here with a decent bracket, I can come forward, across, and shutter all that off. May even see if I can come off of this one. Could even redesign that, couldn't I? Reprint this with a upwards, and then I can onto there. So I can all of that for about 3 horsepower. So as with quite often the case on these things, it's using CAD, that's cardboard aided design, to line up, take measurements, draw some lines, cut it out, keep repeating until you get what you want. Try and make the cardboard a little bit bigger than I prefer, because I can always trim it back down afterwards if I need to. This is looking good, so I'm going to mirror, go for the other one. Now we've got 2, looking snug. It's time to work on the bottom now. Same process, just using some duct tape to stick it all back together. Needs to extend one of them side ones, so again just using a bit of card and a bit of duct tape to just extend it down. It's only going to be a template. When I lay it down on the plastic, I'll cut round it. And here it is, looking good. So I'm quite happy with this. I've got this little cutout here just to miss this little bit here. I'll put some rubber edging on here so this doesn't scrape the fins too much. This nicely locks off. This is all nice and tight against here. Just a simple card template really. Just going to cut that out now, out of plastic. Yeah, once it's fixed up here and on the other side, that'll probably be enough. It's going to be squishing in either side of the intercooler, so that should be okay.
Just about to whip that off and cut all the plastics. And I was just looking at it thinking, I kind of would normally do a shroud around all the radiator and everything. So I put the nose cone back on, and the sides aren't too bad, the bottom doesn't have much gap, but the top does have a big gap. Now I've already got a piece that I'm making for the top anyway, so when I rob the box off the wife, then I'm just going to make another quick template out the top. It means I can also just extend that top one forward a little bit. If I had more time on my hands, I'd make the sides, and I'll make sure that I make it so that I can add sides on when I need to. Now I try not to do things by halves if I can help it, just for a little bit more effort, you know, get it done properly. So just going to cut this box up, do a new top template, and then I'll be happier then. Yeah, let's do that.
So just back at it again with a CAD template, drawing around where I need, slowly cutting out the shape that I need, lots of times putting the nose cone on and off to double check it's okay. And here it is, sitting up nice and snug. Very difficult here because obviously it's just using duct tape to sit in place, but I'm willing to give it a go. Now we're onto the fiberboard, so it's laying the cardboard out, drawing around it and using a sharp Stanley blade to cut around it. A couple of the strikes in this stuff generally cuts through quite nicely. Obviously need to be a bit careful when you're scoring towards yourself, but it's actually really nice and easy to use. Then you just have to gently bend it to get it out. That wasn't meant to happen. That was a bit annoying. Okay, let's go again. Right, let's have another go at this. Template down, let's draw around this, nice and easy, cut it. We need to be gentle, easy. You are absolutely kidding me. This is a poor state of affairs. Throw that second one away. Where's that first one? Probably fits a bit better. Let's finish this one off, and I think I'm just going to have to live with the way it was. I've run out of material.
Boo, where's this bit?
Not too bad, a little bit wonky there. I'll probably shorten this one a little bit, bring that up a little bit. Nice bit of rubber trim down there so it doesn't rub against the grills. All this isn't going to rub. This is okay because it's across here. This will have a rubber bit down it as well, stop rubbing the grills. Yeah, nice. To be honest, it's not too bad at all. I can come off of this mount here to fix this here. This one here, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do here yet. Have a little 3D bracket maybe, slide over the top and screw to that. And I can fix to this here as well. Be quite nice. And again, rubber trim would probably finish off around there, all around the top there, down the side there as well. Really happy with that. Really doesn't take long to mock up and to make something with that fiberboard, and I think that'll make a big difference. Really happy. While I'm waiting for the ECU.
So, fresh off the printer, little bit of caddy doodah and a 3D printy dooday. We've got ABS custom mounts for the top cowling, bits down the side, mirrored, so one per each side. So, a little bit of a foam inlay, and we'll drop them on and see how they go, shall we? So these should hopefully go on here, like this. And then this is going to go on the top with some foam.
Oh, look at that. That was a guess, wasn't it? Brackets fit on a right treat, so now it's about drilling out the holes on the side pieces and then riveting them together. These rivets which I'm using are the largest head rivets which I've got, spreading the load across this plastic because the foam board is relatively soft and the 3D print's not too strong either.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've been busy working off camera. Saves a sped up segment for you. This is kind of where I'm at the moment. So one side is pop riveted on. This 30 by 30 angle just to help this out. So it's just going to tuck in here. You can see a little bit of a foam piece here, so it just sits in here. This is contacting this aluminium front edge. So this is nice. I will fit just a little slimline rubber strip there just to protect that aluminium. And obviously we need to do this other side as well.
Pressing on this foam edging is actually really difficult to do, especially now I'm conscious that I might snap this fiberboard. Sometimes might need a little bit more persuasion with just hands. So I'm just taking my time and being gentle with it. It's looking quite good, it's coming together. Final rivets in, final fit. Yeah, that's pretty strong and tough. Like it. Yeah. Last bracket here now on the final end. Just trimming up a bit of angle that I had laying around. Drilling some holes for the big head rivets. And nutting and bolting it to the top of the oil rad. And this is it, all finished. It does need a little bit more trimming around the edges and tidying up, but this is it in its essence. Definitely does really well, I think, at cowling and keeping a frontal pressure on that intercooler. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. Cheeky little 3D printed bracket as well. Happy times.
This episode has not gone the way that I wanted it to. I wanted to be revving the engine and fitting the fuel injectors and the fuel rail and rubbing my hands together because we got the rolling road. Instead, found out that my ECU might be broken and I need to send that off to OMEX. So fingers crossed, I'm able to get hold of OMEX and able to send that off and they can do a quick repair and everything's good. In the meantime, I did manage to fit a new cowl into the intercooler. That's going to drop my charge temps and hopefully increase my power slightly on the rolling road, which is only 2 weeks away. So, if you haven't checked out my previous episode, please do. Make sure you subscribe because you need to find out what's happening with this ECU. But for now, my name's been Bizzle. This is TeaN'BizzKits. I'll catch you again soon.